Hey everybody, happy Veterans Day. I hope you all had a great weekend and were able to thank those who have served and remember those who have lost. This week we're continuing those required minimum distributions. This is part 3. Part 1 and 2 are already posted. If you haven't seen them, go back. You got to look at the rules and regulations and how to calculate. But today, what we're really going to work on is the problems that occur in required minimum distribution. So first things first is taxes. We got to pay taxes. More money out means more taxation, whether we like it or not. We got to save all that money and not pay taxes on it. It's also forced liquidation of our retirement investments at an increasing rate. Oh, Lord, it's painful. And if you don't know it's painful, I'm sure going to show you why it's painful. And then the heirs have to liquidate everything within 10 years. So let's start with taxation. We have to know the basics of taxation. If your advisor doesn't understand taxation, or if you don't have an advisor and you don't understand taxation, you're going to make a lot of mistakes and you're going to have a lot of problems within that IRA and the planning that involved in dealing with all this IRA money. So first thing I want you to notice here is the tax brackets. Okay, we have a 0% tax bracket because we get this huge standard deduction. So at minimum, a married couple over 65 has $30,700 at 0 taxation. And then from 30 to 52, you only pay 10% taxation. From 52 to 120, you only pay 12% taxation. And then so forth and so on. It's one bucket at a time. Please know this, please drill this into your head. It's one bucket at a time. So having a big spike in income means we're choosing to pay the 20s and 30% tax rates. We don't like big spikes of income. So if some salesman comes to you and convinces you that converting all your IRA money to Roth is the smartest thing you could ever do, and you're going to do it all and just bite the bullet, that's the worst thing you could ever do. You're choosing to just fritter away, throw away your money and entrust our government to use it properly. Thank you for paying your fair share. And I only want to pay as much as I absolutely have to, and that's it. All right? That's the way I feel. I'm okay paying what I owe, but I don't want to pay up anymore. I don't want to choose to pay a lot more taxes. Okay? That's my choice. My choice. On the phone with a client in California, and boy, every time I hear about taxes in California, I wonder why anyone lives there. And the common response is, yeah, my friends all keep moving away, and I think I understand why now. Kind of funny. So taxation, let's not choose to just throw away more money to taxation. So that means we need to be as proactive as possible. We need to, the day you retire, the day your income comes down, we need to start focusing on how do we get this money out the lowest tax rates as possible. Being proactive helps because the longer and more time you have to spread it out, the less taxation you will be exposed to. And that includes your heirs. I was in a conversation with a prospective client. Their current advisor told them they need to be converting as much of that IRA money as possible every single year. He's pushing them into the 24% tax bracket. It seemed to be an arbitrary number because it was right in the middle of the 22 to 24% tax bracket. He wasn't even filling up the 24% tax bracket. And I looked at her and I said, well, let's look at this. You are a single woman on a single tax bracket, right? You have, it was about $1 million in IRA money, okay? You got $1 million in IRA money, single tax bracket here. You're choosing to pay 24% on some of it, 22% on a lot of it, okay? Your kids, your heirs, how many people are getting this? Oh, 6 people are getting this money. $1 million split 6 ways. And each of them has 10 years to distribute the money. And oh, by the way, most of them are married. So they get the married tax brackets. Who's going to pay more in taxation? The single woman with $1 million in IRA, or 6 people splitting the money up 6 ways on married tax brackets over 10 years? Oh, the light bulb went off. Holy cow, why am I doing this? I don't know. And that's the hardest part about this. we've got to understand taxation. And I don't think that advisor understood taxation. We were choosing to just throw money away. So we've got to look at the big picture when it comes to your IRA. Everybody has a different situation, whether it's an heirs situation that's different, whether it's an amount of money, whether it's a single tax bracket, a married tax bracket, everybody is in a different situation. So it's important that an advisor understands taxation, looks at the big picture, understands your heirs, understands your income, understands the world that you're living in, and comes up with the right plan for you to pay the least amount of taxes over the life of your IRA. Not your life, the life of your IRA. If you're giving it to charities, then take out the absolute minimum you can, right? Because the charities aren't going to pay taxes on it when you send it to them when you pass away. So everybody's in a different situation. We got to make the right decisions when it comes to the taxation of this IRA. The next part is the forced liquidation of our portfolio. Your investing strategies need to change as you head into retirement if you need your money. I'm constantly clarifying this. I talk about safe investments a lot. I talk about financial planning a lot that involves safe investments, that involves income planning, that involves all these things. These are all things for people that need their money in retirement. If you're Warren Buffett, none of this stuff applies to you. Throw it all in stocks 100%, let it grow, give it to your heirs. That's the best thing to do. It is, because the day you pass away, all those stocks will step up and nobody will pay taxation. And that's a whole nother part of investing properly for somebody. Okay, but that is easy. If you don't need your money, investing is easy. So I focus most of my talking on people with more difficult situations, which are typically people that need money. So when I talk like this and talk about this math that I'm about to go through, it's only for people that actually need their money. So let's look at this. Let's start with a $100,000 account. We throw it into a mutual fund and it promptly loses 50%. I like big numbers so you can see the math. So you had 100, you lost 50%, you only have $50,000 left. What happens if you earn the same 50% right back? How much do you have? How much money do you have? You had 100, it went down 50% and back up 50%. How much money do you have? If you just went cross-eyed, you're not alone. You don't have all your money back. You lost 50% on 100,000. That means you lost $50,000. You earned 50% on $25,000, or I'm sorry, you earned 50% on $50,000. That's only $25,000. So that's why you only have $75,000 left, right? We got to be careful about this. This math works against us, and it is not fair. You are right. So let's figure out what's going on here. In the preservation years in the middle, let's look at that, right? We're not adding money to this account. We're not subtracting money from this account. We just put 100,000 in. We lost 50%. Now, how much do we have to earn just to get our own money back? That is the real question. And the answer is the market has to go up 100% after losing 50% for you to get your own money back. That doesn't sound fair, I understand, but it is the reality that we dealt with. But we dealt with most of this in our growth years, right? This is when we learned how to invest. The growth years, we put 10,000 into this account because our advisor said, hey, everything's on sale. Throw some more money in here. Dollar cost averaging, all these wonderful little phrases to motivate you to get your money in there. That's important because let's see what happened to the math. We had 100. We lost 50%. We put 10,000 in. So now we have 60,000, but we have to earn enough to get back to 110,000, not 100, 110,000, because that's our break-even mark. Apples to apples, that's our break-even mark. So we're going from 60,000 to 110. How much do we have to earn just to break even? 83%. I don't expect you to do that math. But I do ask you the question, did we improve our situation or make it worse? And the answer is we improved it, right? We only have to earn 83% to break even. And once we earn that 83%, we have more shares all individually growing, and that's how we built our wealth in our 401k and everywhere else. We saved through life. That's how we built our wealth. Okay. Now we go to retirement and we think the same principles work. No. Let's do the math. If we take 10,000 out of this account, we had 100, we lost 50%, we have 50,000. We take 10,000 out, we only have 40,000, but we only have to earn enough to get back to 90 because we took 10 out. So we just have to earn enough to get back to 90 now. So to go from 40,000 to 90,000, we now have to earn 125% just to break even. We exponentially made things worse. By putting money in, we saved ourselves 17%. By taking money out, we cost ourselves 25%. And the question is, are you going to earn that 125% before next year's withdrawal? When you're in forced distribution, that becomes an enormous problem. And it doesn't have to be a 50% loss. It could be just 10. If the account goes down 10, up 10, you don't have your money back. And you do this over and over and over and over again. God forbid you're taking monthly out of your investment account, then you're really making this worse. It's a tiny bit every single time. These mathematical inefficiencies are what you have to avoid. Anybody that is picking investments for a retiree has to focus in on how to handle these withdrawals. We need a more stable environment, and that's the bottom line. Okay? The other scary thing is the order of returns. How many of you can predict the order of returns going forward? The day you retire, what order are the returns going to come in? I think we'll admit that we'll see some turbulence in our retirement, right? Are you going to hit that turbulence early, later, somewhere in the middle? When are you going to hit that turbulence? Because if somebody has that answer, you can fix every problem for everybody. But crystal balls don't work. And there is no such thing, by the way. And so any advisor that says they know how to fix these problems, that know how the market's going to go and know when it's going to go up and know when it's going to go down, they're lying to you. Don't believe it. So we got 3 portfolios on the screen here, right? You got the S&P 500 from 1990 all the way to 2010. And all I did was flip-flop it and do it from 2010 to 1990. It's the same exact returns, just in the opposite order. The mathematical average is accurate. They're both the same returns in the same time period. They just have a different order. So the mathematical average is identical for both. Okay, 6 1/4. It's a proper representation. We put 100,000 in. They all take a different path, but they all end up in the exact same place. No magic, no nothing. Very common sense, very normal. What if we change this by taking 6,000 a year out? Same 100,000 goes into the same 3 choices, but now we're going to take 6,000 out each year. Okay. How is that possible? They're the same returns. They're the same average. Well, we learned 2 things. The first thing is throw averages out the door the day you start pulling money out. If you come to me and tell me that your portfolio averages 8%, your mutual fund, hey, why aren't we using this mutual fund? It averages 25% for the last 10 years. I don't care. Sorry. This proves it. Math proves it. Averages mean nothing when you start pulling from the portfolio. When you hit turbulence does matter when you start pulling from your portfolio. How big that turbulence is matters. How big your withdrawal rate matters. The average return does not matter at all. It doesn't represent anything relevant anymore the day you start pulling money out. Okay, that's the first thing you're going to learn from this. The second thing you're going to learn from this, if you hit turbulence early like this green line, you're going to destroy your portfolio if you keep pulling from it. When you started, you had $100,000. You were taking 6,000 out. That's a 6% withdrawal rate. If the stock market went down and now you only have 60,000 in that account and you're still pulling $6,000 out, you're pulling 10% of that portfolio. And I think most people recognize if you're pulling 10% from your portfolio is going to fall apart just like that green line. I don't care what the returns are. You keep pulling 10% plus out, you're in trouble. Okay. If the stock market skyrockets and you keep pulling the flat $6,000 out every year, hey, you'll do just fine. The portfolio will jump up to $250,000. You're still pulling $6,000 out. That's like a 2.5% withdrawal rate. You're fine. You're fine. That's a tiny little, that's like Warren Buffett withdrawal rate. That's tiny. You can go through some turbulence and handle it just fine. As long as you know you're not going to go through turbulence in the early years and you keep just pulling 6,000 out, not adjusting it higher and higher every time your portfolio goes up, you'll be fine, right? That's scary. We can't fund our retirement based on this. This scares me. That's ridiculous. We don't do this. So how about we just go out and earn 6%? We're getting close. We're getting close to getting a 6% fixed rate. We're on the edge. 5% is really easy. I'd say in the next couple of weeks, we'll probably see 5.5% on a fixed rate for 5 years. We're pretty close. So that's almost possible. But, you know, hey, what about the 6% mutual fund? What's wrong with that? If I just stick 100,000 in, both of these are the same. They're both the same. There's no difference. Earning 6% and averaging 6% is identical. If we just put money in, that's it. They're the same. But if we put 100,000 in and take 6,000 out, that's the magic of CDs and fixed annuities. And it used to be the magic of bonds. 100,000 investment, it pays you 6%. That's $6,000. You take it out, you enjoy it. Your principal's still there. Everybody's happy, right? But if you're averaging 6%, oops, we ran out of money. Same 6%, but hey, we ran out of money. That's why that mathematical average means nothing now, right? Because we chose to take money out of there. That mathematical average means nothing. Nothing, nothing, nothing. It was based on math that included a defined period of time and no withdrawals. The day you started withdrawing, you changed all the math and you ran out of money. Okay? What's crazy is a 2% CD beat that 6% portfolio, which, oh, by the way, is the S&P 500. There's no crazy math here. It's actually very basic math, and it's real. And we have to recognize this when we talk about required distributions, which is not a flat $6,000 every year. It is a higher, larger withdrawal rate every single year. So we have to do the math on this. So I got the last couple of decades here. Let's do 72 through 91 at 3% fixed. 3% fixed, you see what it does. Starts at $18,000, gets a little bigger every single year. If you need income in retirement from your portfolio, that's nice. Nice flat fixed rate tells you exactly what you're going to get for your required distribution, and it is going to last for your entire lifetime because the math goes all the way to 120. Okay? You got plenty of time. You can do this. You can enjoy this income for the rest of your life. For those of you that don't need your money, fine, put it in the stock market. I don't have a problem with it. But if you're taking the money out, more is better, right? The S&P 500 starts at 18, goes up to 21, down to what, 11,000, back up to 18, down to 10 when 2008 happened, and then skyrocketed because the market went straight up. Went all the way to $24,000 required distribution at the end there, okay? So here's your required distributions and what they look like. That fixed rate started at 18, got a little bigger and little bigger, little bigger. You see how the chart, that's the chart of the required distribution. There's the chart of the S&P 500's required distributions, not the performance of the portfolio. This is what you had to withdraw. And I want you to see something really important here. The S&P 500 that averaged 5.13 in that time period yielded $340,000 in required minimum distributions, whereas that boring flat 3% fixed, which we can do better than 3% right now, made $457,000 in your pocket. That's important for us to understand. It shows that the stability of that boring portfolio, when it comes to dollars and cents in your pocket, performs better. Okay? I got some turbulence in there and I got some straight up in there, and you see the enormous difference. So the other thing we have to deal with is this increasing withdrawal rate, okay, that acceleration. We have a principle to live by. You notice you and or your spouse, you've got your required distribution, start at 3.6% and work their way up. You hit the 10% range in your 90s, and then it just skyrockets from there, okay? Your heirs get to create their own. But we're talking most likely for IRA money, at least 10% a year they should be pulling out. So we've got to realize that the principle you live on is the greater the withdrawal rate, the greater the effect of volatility. That 10% that you have to pull out each year, that's a huge withdrawal rate. You have a turbulent portfolio, you're not getting all that money back. Not a chance. You need a safe, stable portfolio with that kind of withdrawal rate. When you start hitting 4%, that's when you see that volatility mathematically really hurting you. So be careful. Don't be afraid of boring investments. You need a plan. And that's what we'll talk about next week. Next week, we're going to talk about all the different solutions that are out there for all these required minimum distributions. So that was really the problems we run into that we have to address. Good financial planners are going to have a lot of things they can do to help out and handle all these problems. If we can help out in any way, give us a call, shoot us an email. We're always happy to help out. If you have questions that you want me to answer in a video, shoot me those questions. I'm always having fun with these videos, coming up with new topics, and I love answering questions. If you want to share this with people, we always appreciate that. If you want to subscribe, I would love it. We're trying to get to 1,000 subscribers. I think we're pretty close to 100, so we got a ways to go. So thank you for watching the videos, and keep coming back for more. We'll see you next week.